Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, May 10th. It is 6:19 right now. Market's going to open in about 11 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. So we got that big push this morning due to the inflation news. We'll see if price corrects back down or if it continues to push in that direction. It's got a couple things here to update. And we should be good to go. All right. Looks good. Let me now get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right. Looks good. All right, perfect. Looks like we're good to go, guys. So I'll get a few moments for people to make their way in, and then we'll get started with our analysis shortly. He's got a couple things here to update, and we should be good to go. All right, perfect. Morning, Stern. Morning, guys. I'll get a few more moments for people to join in. What am I missing? I feel like I'm missing something right now. Let me go check here real quick. Oh, that's why. Okay. All right, guys. Morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, May 10th. It is 6:22 right now. Market's going to open in about 8 minutes. So I'll just give a few more moments for people to make their way in, and then we will get started shortly. I'm going to start off with marking up areas of liquidity here. Hey, Johnny, morning. All right. Hey, Barty, morning. Barty said, once you get free, do check Bookmap. People are using it to find order flow and market of the market and liquidity. Yeah, I'm familiar with Bookmap, Barty. I don't think it's super necessary, but I am familiar with it. Let's see. Hey, Karen, morning. Morning, CJ, morning, guys. So what I'm going to do right here first, guys, is I'm going to mark up areas of liquidity. So I'm going to start off with the daily. Price is kind of far from everything right now due to the news that just passed. So I don't know if we're going to get anywhere near liquidity today, but we'll see if we do. If we do, great. If we don't, it's fine. There's no crazy necessity for us to reach those points. You know, these liquidity push entries are typically always just extra anyways. So let's see. Glenn's asking, hey, Sean, good morning. Did you take the latest liquidity push? No, I didn't, because that was news. Also, I don't take liquidity pushes pre-market. I only take when the market's actually open, because the volatility pre-market is not always going to be clear, and it's not always going to be real. Sometimes it's just manipulated push. So I don't take any liquidity pushes pre-market. I only take them when the market opens. Because the thing is, you can get like a quick push pre-market, but it'll just die from there, right? You'll get a quick push and then there's no more volatility. That's why you typically want to take those types of trades when the market's actually open, so that the market continues to push, because that's the whole point of liquidity pushes, right? Like price can go and fake out, knock out someone's stop loss, and then pretty much go flat from there. Versus during a live session or during the the actual trading session, price will push to an area, and then other traders will continue to push or they'll pull it back. So that's why I really don't recommend people trade pre-market unless like you actually know what you're really doing, because you're kind of just gambling at that point. A lot of those times it's fake outs, like price will push in a direction and then it'll just completely reverse on you. All right, let's see. Got everything marked up over here. And I think we are good to go. Yeah, no problem, Glenn. I know whenever you see liquidity pushes like that, like for example, this is probably the one that you're talking about, right? This one right here. See how the fake out played out right there? Because the market's not open yet. This area got hit right here at 614. And then you can see how price just came all the way back down because there wasn't enough liquidity in the market or like volatility, because people aren't technically trading in the US market yet. The stock market doesn't open until 6:30. So a lot of this stuff is just a futures market. It's just stuff happening behind the scenes. And yeah, I wouldn't have taken that, because if you would have taken that right there, you would have lost a trade. So I'd recommend, just waiting for market to open. So market just is going to open right now in about 4 minutes, guys. And next area of liquidity is going to be up here if price does continue to push up. There's no, the next level is like way up here, but that's going to be the first area up here. If price pushes up and if price pushes down, this is going to be the first area right here. So, I mean, we'll see. If price corrects back down, then it'll probably get to this area. If price continues to push up, then it'll probably go a bit higher to that next other level up there. All right, guys. So morning, everybody. Morning, Shannon. Morning, Glenn. Morning, Satya. Morning, AR. Morning, everybody. A couple other things here for me to mark up will be news. We had news over here at 5:30, CPI month over month, CPI year over year, core CPI. It was neutral, bearish, bullish. So we had news right here at 5:30. I'm gonna go ahead and mark that up real quick. You guys already know where the news is. It's the big candle. So this big manipulated candle right here at 5:30 is the news candle. We have more news over here at 7:30, and that's about it. Light impact news, crude oil inventories. So we got that right there. And then let me check my FX book real quick, make sure I didn't miss anything. News at 5:30, news at 7:30, and that's it. All right, so that's all the news for today. I'm going to go ahead and mark up the higher high and the lower low so that you guys can see the zone right there. So that's pretty much it for this here. Here's a clean chart. I'm going to mark up opening price 6:30, 8 o'clock. And of course, I'll leave the higher high and lower low left alone for now. I'll just leave this alone for now, actually. And then we'll mark it up when the market actually opens in the next 2 minutes. So market is opening in about 1 minute, guys, or sorry, about 2 minutes. And we will see where this ends up going. Let's see, question from Nick. Nick's asking, would you take that liquidity for a buy if it hits smooth? Let me see, how far is it? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see, Nick, because it's pretty far out. So if it pushes up 1,200 pips, that's pretty overextended, right? Because what happens here is it's the same pattern that we saw yesterday. Breakout. So consolidation, breakout, consolidation, breakout, consolidation, breakout. And then if it breaks out up here, what's going to happen from that point? Consolidation, right? So you don't want to get caught in this area, because if you get caught in the consolidation, price can either go on your TP or it's going to pull back right back below. So probably not if it's that far up. If we get a smooth push up, so if I get something where it slightly pushes up higher and then I have some space for entry, like if it does something like this, then yeah, I would take that. But I wouldn't just take it if it's a straight push, because if it's a straight push, you might get caught in the consolidation and then it might just pull back. So, I mean, we'll have to play by ear. I can never tell if price is going to go exactly where I'm anticipating it to for the liquidity. You just have to see where the market takes you, because on open here, you're going to get some manipulation. This big push right here happened based off news, right? This is the news push. So, I mean, price can either continue up higher or it can pull back. So as it gets closer, I can kind of give you a better answer. But right now, this is just not the area for me to look at, because price can really break out and, either direction. Maddie, saw your message. All right, guys, market is opening up shortly. There you go, it's opening bell. Let's see where price ends up going. Yeah, no, definitely, Nick. So that's kind of what I was feeling as well. I just wanted to make sure I was on point. Yeah, there's not really much to look at here because it's pretty far from this area and it's pretty far from this area. So if it gets to either area, you just want to see how it got to that point. If it broke out to that point, then maybe hold off because you want to wait for some sort of retracement. And there's not really much movement here. You can see, looks like a lot of people are kind of scared to see what's going to happen next. So looking at the market right now, there's not really anything going on. As you can see, price is literally going nowhere. This is pretty unusual for a big, heavy news day like this. Big push right here, pre-market for the CPI news. And then now nothing's really happening because a lot of people are trying to, it looks like a lot of people are waiting for what's going to happen next, which makes sense, right? Not a lot of people are not too inclined to take anything unnecessary or risky right now. You can see price starting to push up. Let's see if it holds or if it fakes out and pulls right back down. So I'm going to go and mark up the high point right here and the low point right here, so you can see where price is going. But as you can see, price is just ranging. Here's a clean chart. So it's really easy to see here. Price hasn't done anything since this point right here. So news happened right here at 5:30. Price pushed up, now consolidated for a pretty good while. So we'll see if this breaks out above. If it does, great. If it doesn't, then it's got to wait. That level's still up there, Nick. So we still got some time. But realistically, if you look over here, price is still within the zone. So what I would be looking for here, if I'm going to look for that buy, is I'm going to look for a break and retest pattern. Break, retest, continuation, right? And then from there, it'll hit liquidity, and then I'll cash it from that point. But you got to wait for something like that to actually provide details of the next move, which we don't technically have yet. Yeah, Nick said, I'm thinking it may push down, then come back up. I could see that too. Fake out to the bottom, correction back up. All right, so price is pushing up slightly right here. I would be a little careful about taking anything here because there could be a fake out. It's gonna, so one of two things can happen here. Price will either bounce off here, it'll break out, break and retest. So it'll either bounce off this point or it'll break and retest and continue. A couple different scenarios here that can play out. Let's take a look at the bigger picture first. So, I mean, obviously everything here is bullish. So you can see over here from the technicals, the 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour timeframes are all bullish. You can see prices above the pivots, trend meters green, pivots are angling up. We have somewhat of a bullish bias here with regard to technicals for the most part. However, this bullish push is based off the news from this morning. So you want to be careful because this here isn't necessarily I wouldn't say it's a valid bias, because you can see here the big candle in the 30 minute, big candle in the 1 hour, big candle in the 4 hour. This is all from news. It's not like it happened on its own, happened based off the news. So people reacted to the news. We'll see if the continuation happens or if the correction back down happens. But anyways, for technicals over here, we do have a bullish bias. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a very strong bullish bias, but it is bullish. And it was based off the news. Looking over here at the fundamentals, I'll refresh this. Fundamentals are currently up 194 points. Again, this big push here is based off the news. So I wouldn't necessarily say that this is going to hold. So this right now is currently up, very bullish. Lastly, let's take a look at the sentiment over here. Sentiment is currently 64% short. So we do have a bullish bias here, but again, a lot of this bullish bias is based off the news from earlier this morning. So what I would like to see here is I actually would like price to come down. So I actually want price to come down a bit to basically lure in some sellers. And then I want to catch that as it swings all the way back up. So this is kind of what I want to see here. I want price to come down a little bit due to manipulation. I want people to think that price is going to come down and fill this gap here, right? The gap based off the news. So this whole area right here. So I'll just draw the news candle real quick. So this is the news candle right here, right? This whole shaded area. What I want to see here is I want price to come down so that it looks like price is correcting to fill this news price candle right here, right? I want price to come down to this point. And then from here, I want to catch the reversal and correction back to the upside. That's what I prefer to see. Because if that's the case, then I got this whole area right here to take buys from. Price is a little overextended right here, so it's kind of risky to take buys at this point. But if price comes down here, I got a whole area right here, 2,000 pips for me to take buys. That's what I would prefer. Because the last thing you want to do is take a buy right now. And then as soon as you take a buy, it does exactly what I just mentioned, right? Like you take a buy position for whatever reason, you think price is going to go up, and then price just ends up coming down super hard. So there's a lot of different scenarios here. So you want to be a little careful with your entries. I mean, you should always be careful with your entries, but there's just a lot of scenarios here that can play out. So this right here might be a possible high level momentum scalp, guys, but due to the very strong bullish bias, I don't know if this is one I would personally want to take. One question that Brian had, he messaged me pre-market, was asking if I can look at the 10-second confluence here. So Brian, this is what we were looking at, or we were talking about. So if you guys sat in on the mentoring session on Monday, I mentioned that, typically if this candle breaks and closes past the previous candles, it's generally going to push, and kind of did so right here. So this candle right here closed, or it closed bearish, and now it's coming down. So this right here would have been a high level momentum scalp. Not one that I would personally take, because as I mentioned, the bias right now is very strong for a buy. So even though this right here did hit TP, I probably wouldn't have taken it. It's just too risky. It went straight to TP, but it was too quick. So I don't know if anyone else caught it, but not necessarily the one that I'd be looking to take. As you can see right here, it did go straight to TP and then now it pulled right back up because the bias is still bullish. So I would probably want to look for the swing back to the upside. That's what I would be looking for. But yeah, Brian, there goes the analysis right there. Basically, I mean, it wasn't a smooth push, but basically, so this blue line right here was the open of the candle. And then right here, it kind of closed right here. Nice and bearish. It didn't close below this other one, but it did close pretty bearish. So if that was the case, it would have been a nice confirmation to take the sell, but only for 100 pips, not for anything farther than that. If I see another example, Brian, I'll show you again. This one wasn't a good example because it was so typically what you want to look for here, Brian, is you want to look for the candle to break and close below the below the candle. So the low is right here, and you can see the candle over here closed. I mean, it closed bearish, but it didn't close very strong. So this candle right here, I'll just mark it up for you real quick. This candle right here should have closed below that blue line, because if it did, then you can take the continuation back down. Same with this candle right here. So let me show you again right here, Brian. So again, right here, this is the low of that candle. Yeah, so this was the low of that candle right there. And see how this one right here closed below it? That'd give you an okay to take the sell there, right? So you would have hit your TP there if there was an entry at this point, but this is an example of what we're basically looking at here. So you're just using this as a confluence. It's not a standalone strategy, but if you have a sell entry here that comes up and then you line it up on even lower time frames, it'll allow you to be more confident about taking the entry. So it's just a confluence. Don't do it by itself, because this is a 10-second chart. You don't really want to be taking trades like that on the 10-second chart. Only if you see a sell entry here. So that sell entry right there would actually fall under a high-low scalp. As you can see right here, there was the zone. So there's a high-low scalp right here. Price broke and closed below it. You would have lined it up with this one here, would have closed below it. You would have taken that for a sell for a quick profit right there. Even though the candle was huge, you could have taken it for a quick TP right there. So you just use this as a confluence. It's not necessarily a strategy on its own. You want to use your strategy and then use a 10-second at the confluence to make sure if that candle is a good candle or not. So, all right, we have nothing here right now, guys. Price is still pushing down a little heavy. The next lower low is going to be way down here. So it's a bit of a distance from where price is currently at. I'm sure there's going to be a new lower low that gets established right here. But for the moment, this is the current lower low at the moment. So make some updates when we get closer to that point. It's pretty much doing what I mentioned earlier, guys. It's coming down to fill this candle right here. But I think price will correct back up. So it's coming down right here, basically to lure in sellers, and then it'll probably swing back up eventually. I don't know when, but it will eventually. As you can see right here, the huge correction on the 30-minute, 1 hour, 10-minute, 5-minute, 1 minute, just a huge correction to the downside. This is why I was telling you guys not to take the buys, right? It just comes from experience. I've seen this pattern play out a lot. Whenever you guys see a news candle like this, price is either going to correct back down or it's going to continue pushing up. Right here, I think price will break and retest of that. You can kind of see it better here on like the 30-minute. I think the 30-minute would be a good time frame to see that break and retest type pattern. Price broken close above this area right here. So we'll see if it continues dropping. So see how price broke and closed past this structure right here? This candle right here is going to be the retest. So if the 30-minute right here doesn't actually close below, and you see a big wick right there, it's going to be a hint that price is likely to bounce up even further. So there's two different levels here. There's this level right here, and there's another level right here where price could be considered a break and retest. That level and that level right there. So price does come back lower. There's two different areas where price can retest from there or retest from here. So the bounce may happen there, or it may happen down here. And I got these levels from the high lows. So I just use a high low indicator, look at different structures that this candle right here broke and closed past. And then you can look for the retest right here in this following candle. Price is coming down pretty heavy right here. I would not take this liquidity down here, guys, because it's just, you guys can see how big the drop is. It's due for retracement. If price gets down to this area, it's probably gonna have to retrace. So I wouldn't take this area of liquidity down here, at least not yet. If it starts to consolidate here, so price drops down from where it's currently at, comes back a little bit, consolidates, then comes down from here, then I would take it from that point. But I wouldn't take it directly from here, because you can see from this point right here, price has dropped from this high point down to here. It's dropped almost 3,000 pips. That's way overextended. So just sit tight, guys. No need to force anything. No need to rush anything. I mean, this pattern that I showed you earlier is playing out exactly how I was anticipating. Price came down to pretty much fill this gap right here, and it can just bounce at any moment. So, and now you can see price is no longer bullish, right? So this is what I mentioned to you guys earlier. I said price was bullish because of the news, and now it's back down. So it's now bearish on the shorter time frames. Bearish on the 1 minute, bearish on the 5 minute, bearish on the 10 minute, bearish on the 30. 1 hour and 4 hour is still neutral, but pretty much bearish across these other time frames here. 30-minute candle still has about 17 minutes left on it, so it's got a lot of time before it ends up closing. But we'll see if this bounce here ends up happening off this 30-minute time frame. So we'll watch this area of liquidity, but again, as I mentioned, guys, I'm not going to take it if it gets down to that point, because it's way overextended. So I just don't want to get caught in this fake out here, which is likely to happen. All right, so price is rejecting directly off news price. You can see this pink line right here that I drew earlier. That's news price. So it's rejecting directly off it. Let's see if this is where the reversal is going to play out. All right, let's see if the balance happens right here. the 30-minute candle's still running, so it still has 15 minutes left on it. It's got a lot of time, but you guys can see over here where I drew the bounce. This might be a V2 variation right here, if it ends up closing as a strong green candle. Not really looking to take it. I'm just marking it up to show you guys. Yeah, the candle's a little too big, so I don't know if I would take it as a V2 variation. Does not look like it's going to close because the wick on top is too big. It's not a V2 variation. It's not a V1. There's no double body, double wick. This could technically be a V3 variation, but the V3 is like the weakest one out of the three. So I wouldn't necessarily look for that. So candle is too weak. It's not a V2. There's no double body, double wick. There's no V1. It would possibly fall under a V3, but not one I would take. Because even if you're doing a V3, you'd have to have the overall bias. Trend over here is obviously bearish at the moment. All right, so this is fine. See how price is consolidating? This is what I just mentioned to you guys, right? Breakout, consolidation, breakout, consolidation, breakout, consolidation. Same pattern that we saw yesterday. Pretty much it's the same exact thing repeating itself. And it's been happening pretty much every day this week. You can see here consolidation, breakout, etc. So this is fine right here. Now, at this point, if price does come down to liquidity here, this may be an okay place to enter. I don't want to say for sure, but it can be a possible okay place to enter. Let me see if I can identify where this is at, though, on my chart. I got to put a line right there. Gauge it at that lowest candle. See 33.482. And I really hate MT4. MT4 is hard to it's not as easy to draw lines on MT4 than it is to on TradingView. $34, 33.480. So, trying to set a pending order here if I can. So, this thing dropped already. I couldn't set it up fast enough. Yeah, I couldn't set it up fast enough. It's all good. I'll just watch and see where it goes from here. Or maybe I could set it up a later entry. All right, price is hitting that area of liquidity. See where it's currently. I got to see it on my chart to see where it's looking like. Looks like I already hit TP right there. Full TP on my side, guys. I got in for a late entry right there. Made 2,600 off that trade. Nice area of liquidity right there. So if you guys caught that, played out exactly how I told you guys it was going to play out, right? I said I was going to enter right away. I said if price consolidated here a bit, I would catch it as it came back down. It came down right here. I missed the initial entry. I just hate MC4. It's hard for me to type in the numbers. I was typing it in and it said invalid entry because the price was already at liquidity. So I ended up waiting for it to pull back. I put my sell stop there really quick, and then I just manually got in and out. So played out exactly how we anticipated. Liquidity here did its job like it always does. Perfect entry right there, guys. If you guys caught it, great. See, I made some nice slippage on that trade. MFF, of course, gave me less profit, but it is what it is. MFF gave me 870. FTMO gave me 2,600. It's quick. All right, so there goes the liquidity right there. I think this is everyone's favorite strategy. I'll keep marking it up for you guys, and we'll keep taking them as they come through. But again, guys, as I mentioned before, you have to be very careful about taking these entries. I know it gets you guys super excited when you guys see these entries, but you got to be smart about it. Like, I wouldn't take it if it pushed down right away, but since it consolidated right here, it's the same pattern I've been showing you guys, right? Consolidation, breakout, consolidation, breakout, consolidation, breakout, consolidation, breakout. So same pattern, consolidation, breakout. And then when it happens to go towards liquidity, even better, because what I saw here is that people are getting stopped out, right? You can see all the lows here that haven't been tested. Basically, whoever was taking buys here earlier, this is where their stop losses were sitting. You guys can see the stop loss hunt on this specific candle right here. And that's where we made our money. Basically, when all these people are getting stopped out, we were making money off their stops. So perfect move right there. I almost missed it. Thank God I was fast enough to like click real quick and make my adjustments. But you guys can see, even myself, I've been trading for so long. MT4 still gets on my nerves with taking these pending orders. I don't really like taking pending orders, but I mean, it does give you that peace of mind that you don't have to like click and then miss the entry or then follow into the move. So if you guys made profits on this trade, just go ahead and post them up. I'm just going to give an update right here as well. Another full TP off this liquidity. All right, guys, a quick proc right there. Looks like a lot of you guys locked in profits, so that's good to see. And we'll move on to the next one. So this one's done. I'm gonna clean this up. There's no areas of liquidity around this area any longer. Next area of liquidity is down here. It's a long way to go. I don't think we're gonna get to that point by this live session. Yeah, it's 3,000 pips away. Definitely not seeing that happening today. Let me see the next area of liquidity up here. Oh, I definitely don't see this hitting. This is like probably 4,000 pips away. Yep, exactly. This is like 3,700, about 4,000 pips away. So I don't see any other liquidity getting knocked out by today. I'll leave it up, but not really seeing too much here happening for this live session. With regard to liquidity, I'm still looking for the other entries here, so don't worry. I'm looking for these high-level momentum scalps, but for the most part, liquidity looks like it's done for today. And that's why it's key that you guys pay attention during this time period, because if you guys don't pay attention, you're going to miss that liquidity push. It's like basically a guaranteed move every day. You can get to that area of liquidity, and it plays out nicely, and the move is actually pretty smooth. It's like almost guaranteed to hit, and that's like almost your free win for the day, right? Other than that, we'll be looking for entries, but it's going to be for other strategies, not for this one specifically. Let me see if there's any SR zones around this area. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. So main focus here is still to look for any more possible entries, but we just do not have anything here just yet. All right, so I'll put this up here for SR rejection scalps in case the market starts to range a bit, but I just don't see anything here right now. Yeah, I mean, if we see a rejection off here, it can be an SR rejection scalp, but you know what? Sorry, guys, this isn't the real time. I was testing some stuff last night. Man, it's too messy here. Okay, I don't know if I'll use the SR rejection scalp, guys. You guys can see the zones here, just they're too messy. I'll just draw the most recent one, but I'm not going to. I mean, it wouldn't matter. Price is not really next to those other areas anyways. All right, so just one zone right there. But other than that, there's no other entries for now. There's no high level momentum scalps. We have a lower low right here, but you can see how price is consolidating right here. Not exactly looking for this type of move. When I look for these high level momentum scalps, I need that to have a strong momentum. So I need a strong push to the upside from this point, which I don't have right now. If price comes back down and establishes a new low, then great. But if not, this is not the type of setup that I'm looking for the high-low momentum scalp. Let's see who's here. Maddie took it. Johnny took it. Nick caught it. CJ caught it. Sisu caught it. Vince, CJ. Nice, guys. I just saw your message, Nick. Yeah, I was trying to read out the number, but I wish there was an easier way to draw an MT4. MT4, you can't just draw a line. Like, you can't just get a horizontal ray or a line and draw it there and then see the number right there. It's like always never on point. And they don't have this magnet tool where you can just like stick it to it so you can see the exact price. So you kind of have to like squint to see how far is it from it and make sure that it's perfect. And a lot of times it isn't, but it's all good. Anyways, no entries for this right now. Let's take a look at everyone's profits so far. So we have Maria over here. She took that liquidity sell, total profit of 590 for the day, all wins. Nice work, Maria. Nice green strip here. You let the trade run to full TP, so that's smooth. We have Maddie over here. Maddie locked in a total profit of 610 off that trade, full TP right there as well. Green strip. Nice work, Maddie, all wins. We've got Vince over here. Vincent locked in a total profit of 710 off that sell as well. Green strip right here, full TP. Nice work, Vince. Kenny over here sent me this link for, let me see what it is. And Brian got it as well. Awesome, Brian. All right, so it looks like Representative Comer holds press conference on probe into Biden's family. All right, some politics news. Thanks, Kenny, for the link. I don't think it'll affect the market too much, but it's good to know. David over here, total profit of 106 off that trade. Nice work right here, David. All wins for the day. We got Nick over here. Nice win off that trade too. Total profit of 720. Nice work, Nick. All right, guys, solid profits off that last trade. If you guys have more profits to post up, feel free. Otherwise, we'll look for another entry here, which I don't see coming yet. There's a pending buy signal right here, but there's no lower low, so there's no entry here for a high-low momentum scalp. We just got to wait for the next opportunity to come up here. See, Glenn caught it. Sutton caught it. Nice. Glenn's asking if I'm trading Asia, do I still use a 1030 TP stop loss? I mean, it depends on what I'm trading, Glenn. If I'm trading on the 10-minute time frame, I use a 2550, but if I'm trading on the 1 minute, I'm using a 1030, usually for the most part. But it's not always the same. It depends on market conditions. I think that's the hardest part. The hardest thing to get across to people sometimes is just market conditions. You know, there's never going to be a set TP stop loss every single time, especially during Asia, because market could be super flat or it can be very volatile. So I think Asia is very tricky when determining which TP stop loss to use versus New York sometimes. So here's the profits across all my accounts: 2,600 on my first one, 2,300 on my second one, and about 800, 900 on my MFFs. I'll take individual screenshots right now of my profits, and then I'll show them to you guys as well. Right now, guys, there's still no entries for us to take. I know there's a pending buy signal right here, but as I mentioned before, it's not one that I would personally take. There was a V1 variation right here. I'm not sure if anyone caught it. There's actually two V1 variations. There's one right here, and there's one right here. They both hit full TP. So there's one right here, V1 variation, double body, double wick rejection. So basically a 2-for-1 right there. That one obviously hit full TP. And there was another one right here, right next to it, double body rejection right there as well for a full TP. So it's kind of risky to take a V1 variation like that because the trend is up, price dropped so heavily. But if you guys took it, I just wanted to show you guys there was two V1 variations right here, one below and one right here as well. So let me take a screenshot of my profits for the day. Man, I wish MFF would increase their lot size max. I'm selling 100 lot on MFF because they're capped at 100. It just doesn't make sense. Like, why would they give you a 200K account at this point, I might as well split up my 200K accounts into a bunch of 100K accounts because I'm always going to make less profit on my MFF. It actually makes more sense. Let's see. Let's see, Lucas said took a small L on that liquidity push, but just got back in a profit after catching that V1. Perfect. Nice work. Nice work, Lucas, on the recovery. I'm assuming you moved your stop loss and profit a little too early. Probably got knocked out due to slippage. It's all good. It happens. All right. I'm screenshotting my profits real quick, guys. Here's some profits from Martha. Martha's currently at 3,720 for the day. Nice work, Martha. So great work right there. Martha locked in a pretty nice full TP off that trade. All right, perfect. So I'm going to post some of my individual profits now. So just one trade for today, guys. I didn't trade pre-market today. I got to get out of that. It's a bad habit for me to trade Asia session or pre-market. So I'm just going to try to stay away from the charts pre-market and not really look at them because it could have ended bad, especially with the news this morning. All right, so here are my accounts so far. Here's my FTMO number one. You guys can see the green strip. This is my main master account. Total profit of 2,640. Here's my FTMO number two account. Total profit of 2,340 for the day. Here's my MFF number one. Total profit of 870. My MFF number two. Total profit of 920. And my third MFF account. Total profit of 920 as well. So I'm in profit about 4,000. 5,000, between 6,000 and 7,000 for the day, just that off that one trade. So, this is the power of having multiple accounts and, pretty much spreading your risk out evenly. So I'm up pretty nice off just that one trade. Like if I wanted to just take a liquidity push once a day, I think I could be fine. Because even if I was to lose a liquidity push trade, I would probably make it back the next day. Right, because the liquidity push trades they're very accurate as long as you're applying them properly. You don't get greedy. Because, like for example, here I deleted it already. Okay, so like I was showing you guys earlier over here, there's the trade that we took earlier. There was like actually three entries for liquidity here. You could have taken 3 entries if you really, really wanted to, but I wouldn't get greedy like that. I'll just take the first one. So, if you want to just take one liquidity push, you can really make a lot of profit off just that one trade and then call it a day if you wanted to. That's kind of similar to like what people used to do before. If you guys remembered from, I think last summer, we applied the breakout a lot. A lot of people would literally just hop onto the live session for like the first 5 minutes, take the breakout and be done for the day. It's the same with the liquidity push. You can take that liquidity push, make your quick profit for the day, your 1 to 3%, and then just be done. That's if you don't want to trade all day. Nick said Steven. Yeah, no, so that was Steven's thing. Take the breakout every morning and then be done. And then he started doing his own thing and then he blew his account. It's crazy. He got funded so fast and he didn't have a losing trade for like a good 3 months. And then he started doing his own thing and blew his account. And I don't even know where he is anymore. He's in here sometimes. He's not here right now. Nick said that guy made me want to throw myself off a bridge. Yeah, if you guys find something that works, like if you find one strategy that works for you guys, just stick to that. Don't go and try to do everything. Right, Maddie. Yeah, no, if you guys find one strategy that works well, like for example, if you like this high level momentum scalp and this is like your thing, just stick to this one strategy. If you guys like liquidity pushes, stick to the liquidity pushes. If you guys like the SR rejection scalp, stick to the SR rejection scalps. I feel like a lot of people try to do way too much, and that's kind of what throws you guys, it messes you guys up because you just start to get greedy. You see that I have so many strategies available and you want to apply every single strategy. and then you just end up making a ton of mistakes. So, you know, just stick to one strategy, and once you're really good at that, then move on to the next one. But there's nothing to take right now, guys. Don't worry. You're not missing out on anything. We have a new higher high right here. So if price does come back down, we have a possible entry for a sell. We just don't have anything here just yet. So let's see. Some profits over here from Slava. So Slava's currently up 1,366 for the day. Nice work, Slava. Great profit off that last trade. And then we have Johnny over here too. Johnny took a full lot size just like I do. Total profit of 4,540 off that one trade. Crazy. Yeah, that's solid. Nice work, Johnny. It's a crazy profit right there. That's probably I think this is a big profit you've made so far, right? Off one trade. Huge win right there from Johnny. That's a record for you. All right, we have a new zone right here. I don't know if it'll hold. It'll probably keep pushing up higher. If it does, then this is just going to push up higher. But for the moment, we have one right there that's pending. I'll just leave it up for now. And if we need to make adjustments, we can make adjustments. I know, Maddie, or worse. Angela's asking, Sean, is liquidity pushes all year round? I mean, all these strategies are all year round. There's not really much of a season for it, except for the SR rejection. Actually, no. So the SR rejection scalp is all year round too. It just doesn't, it comes up more often when the market's ranging. So the market tends to get into range from time to time. So this strategy, I mean, all the strategies we have are all year round, Angela. All the strategies are based off momentum. So they're all year round. As long as the market's moving, there's going to be entries. There's just some strategies that have more opportunities for entry while others don't. But every strategy is all year round. I don't use seasonal strategies. And we're scalping, so it doesn't really matter if it's what season we're in. It's just you're not going to see as many entries. Like, for example, this whole week, we haven't had any high-low momentum scalps, right? It doesn't mean that it's not working. It's just not coming up. So there was one right here, like there was one high-low momentum scalp that came up right here, but we didn't take it because obviously the bias is bullish. So the strategy still works. I mean, there's no, I don't really look to take any seasonal strategies because it just doesn't make sense to do that. You want to have a lot of different tools under your belt just in case. So yeah, no problem, Angela. But yeah, the liquidity pushes, I would consider it like, because look, so if you go over here to the daily, so I drew these zones from early this morning, right, Angela? We have zones down here. Like these zones will be sitting here for like months, right? Or weeks or months until price gets down to this point. But eventually price is going to get down to this point and it's going to knock it out. So it might take a while for these zones to get hit, but eventually they will get hit and we'll be waiting for that opportunity. Yeah, Maddie said it's really just a matter of being patient and waiting for them to show up. Yeah, that's really what it is. You know, exactly what Maddie said. Like, for example, we might have one right here coming up. Like we could have some days where there's no opportunities that come up. And then there could be some days where there's like 5-10 opportunities that come up. It's about being disciplined and just patient. I feel like a lot of people are just impatient. They can't wait for that setup to come and they try to force a trade and then it ends up not going in their direction, which should be no surprise. If you guys ever go out of your trading plan and you lose a trade, that should be no surprise. You should have expected that loss. There's a whole reason why you have a trading plan and why you follow it. Let's see. Nice. So AR said, sweet 200 pips here, caught the sell and the buy. Sweet. Glenn said, do you think we can go for 20, 30 TP stop loss on these liquidity pushes? I mean, you probably can, Glenn, but I'm not going to risk it. I'll let you risk it if you want to. And then you can let me know how it plays out. Because, you know, the liquidity pushes are meant for, they're like quick pushes. They're not meant for these long holds. So, I mean, you could try it out and they'll probably work, but there's going to be a lot of times where they're not going to work. So I personally would not try it out myself. If you want to try it out, you're more than welcome to. Like this area of liquidity down here. Let's see how far it pushed. Like this pushed down like 400 pips. So yeah, you could have taken this one here, but you could see like other liquidity pushes where it didn't really push that far. Let me see the screenshots from earlier this week. Yeah, like, so for this liquidity push, you probably could have got a little higher. You probably not, yeah, you probably could have got 300 pips on this one from yesterday. Same with this one, you know, prior days, but it doesn't always push that far. I'm looking for an example where it like got to the TP and then it just ended up reversing. So for this week, a lot of these trades are based off like a lot of news moves. But let me see if there's any other entries here. So like maybe like this one right here, right? So this was on May 5th last week. So if you would have done that right here, Glenn, you probably would have gone screwed on this trade, right? You probably would have made more on these first initial liquidity pushes. But on this one right here, if you say you missed these two and you took this last one right here and you try to go for a little more because you could get a little greedy, you would have lost this trade because it would have reversed on you. So for me personally, these trades aren't necessarily meant to be held for that long. They're just temporary pushes. So they're not meant to be held for like the extended period. That's why I go for 100 pips, because slippage is typically going to hit your trade anyways. If price is blasting through your TP, you're going to get like an extra, 100 to 200 pips already. Like for example, here, my trade today, I locked in 2,600, right? I was only supposed to lock in 2,000. I got slippage right there. So technically I got 150 pips versus just 100 pips. So you're going to get slippage either way. If you get greedy and you try to go for like, 200 pips, it might not even hit your TP. Like you might get caught in the spread, or price might like trigger your TP, not close it, and then pull back. So for me personally, I wouldn't really want to risk it, but if you want to try it, you're more than welcome to try it out. You would need the indicators though, you know that, right? You need the indicators to try that, because I know you don't have the indicators, and if you're going to try to do it off the fly, and you're also on the YouTube, so it's delayed. So there's a couple of things there that may be holding you back, because I could mark up the zones here and price might hit the area and then you might miss it. So if you guys want to apply these strategies, it's highly recommended that you have the indicators to mark it up on your own chart. And then also, if that's too much for you, then you can just at least get the live, because you want to make sure that you see the real-time movement. And then on top of that, you probably want YM data, right? Because if you're using US30 data, you're probably not going to get the best type of data. So a lot of things there, a lot of recommendations I can give you, but it's really up to you. But I could see it pushing that much. I just wouldn't want to risk it myself. See if there's anything else here that I'm missing. Satyam said he took the V1, now done. Nice. So it looks like Satyam over here took like 3 trades, all full TPs. He took the he took the V1 earlier down here, took the liquidity push, and looks like he's done for the day. So perfect. Barty said he put his sell stop at 33675 MFF, slipped his order. Damn. Yeah, so Barty put a sell stop for MFF and it slipped his order. Like, I guess it didn't fill his order. Yeah, is that what happened, Barty? It didn't fill at all. I'm starting to not like MFF more and more as the days progress, because it seems like they have issues. If that's the case, Marty, where it didn't fill your order, I'd be pretty upset because price blasted right through TP. So if it didn't fill your order, I would have figured it'd fill your order late and then still close out. But if not, then yeah, they're just starting to seem more and more unreliable. But I mean, as long as they pay me out, I'm completely fine with them. So Barty said that his MFF filled, but it closed in a loss. Dang. Thankfully, mine didn't. I didn't get full TP, but at least it didn't close in a loss. So I was supposed to make 1,000 on this account for all of my MFFs. Made 870 here, made 920 here. They should have been 1,000, or at least over 1,000. Because I got slippage here on my FTMOs. I was supposed to make 2,000 here, I made 2,300. And I was supposed to make 2,000 here, but I made 2,600. All right, guys, there's still no entries for us here right now. Still looking for this high-low momentum scalp that still hasn't come up, but so we had a higher high right here. There was a sell signal. Price did not break and close past pivots 1 and 2, so there's no entry. Looks like price is now consolidating. So if price starts to consolidate around here, expect a breakout to happen at some point. either to the upside or to the bottom side. If price breaks out to the upside, so if you guys get a breakout to the upside right here, target price point is going to be opening price. That's where I see price going. If it does break above, which I don't know. It might break out above, or it might stay where it's currently at, or it might pull down. There's no telling. Thanks, Maddie. Maddie said the sentiment just changed. So sentiment is now 61% short. So if you guys remember from this morning, sentiment was 64% short earlier. It looks like a lot of people either pulled out of their position or they're getting stopped out. My guess is that people who are chasing the sells right here, they trail their stop. And that's a smart move, right? Like I'm sure a lot of people here are trailing their stop. Like say, for example, they're in the sell right here. They probably trailed the stop per candle. So price came down a little bit, came down a little bit, came down a little bit. They just kept trailing it. And when it pushed up right here, they got stopped out. Or if they trailed it to here, they eventually got stopped out in profit. So if you guys are ever chasing a move like that, which I don't recommend, but if you guys do chase a move like that, make sure to trail your stop, or at least move your stop loss in profit. I think that's a key thing. Other than that, there's nothing for us to take right now. Still waiting for something here to come up. There's no high-low momentum scalps. There's no higher highs or lower lows. There's a higher high right here, but this higher high is no longer useful because we already had the sell signal here, didn't break and close past the pivots. Now it is just going sideways. Let's see. Barty said, so Sean, I placed a sell stop at 33,675. MFF slipped his order. Now sell stop activated. 33,665. MFF always does this when there's high volatility. But I made again 15 pips. Yeah, no, that happens, Barty. Because it spiked right through it. That's why a lot of times I sometimes don't like taking pending orders, because if the volatility is too high, it'll either fill you at a bad entry point, or it'll skip past your TP. I've seen some people do that before, and it tends to be an issue with MFF. It's just their execution times aren't good. You guys have seen that before. That's why all my MFF counts are, but they gave us a heads up, so it shouldn't be a surprise to a lot of people that that's happening, because MFF gave an email out that they were going to be doing that. They were having like they had an adjustment to their servers where like slippage would happen, or the execution times weren't always going to be on point. It was basically to protect them from getting caught in like spiked moves and stuff. So yeah, no, that's normal though, Barty. They warned people about that like a couple months ago when they sent out an email. They said that they were setting like fixed spreads, and then if the volatility is too high, their execution times are going to be like a little delayed. So unfortunately, it's not something we could get mad about. Barty said this didn't happen with the funded trader ever. I've never used the funded trader, so I can't say anything about funded trader. I mean, if that's the case and you like funded trader better, maybe you should, start another account with them. I'm fine with MFF. I mean, I'm making less profit, but they're still paying out and they're still consistent, so I'm okay with them. If they stop paying me out, or if they miss a payment, then I'll let you guys know, and I'll probably stop using them. But at the moment, they're fine for my trading style and for my trades. I do miss out on a lot of profit though. If you guys have been following my profits for MFF, it's been like about I think 3 or 4 months now. They've been having, I've never had like a full TP except for yesterday. So yesterday I had one trade here. This one gave me a full TP. That's the first time I've had a full TP in like, 3 or 4 months, but it's only one account. Let me see if there's anything else over here real quick. Let me scroll down. All right, so I'm just going to mark up C6 trades over here. So nice work, C6. Kips profits right here too. I'll show you guys Kips and C6 profits shortly. Some more profits from C6 here. All right, so there's no entries right here, guys, so don't worry, we're not missing out on anything. But here are CSUK's profits for the day. So we have Kip over here, total profit of 1,268 for the day, all wins. Nice work, Kip. What Kip's been doing here, that's why you see the red strip, is he's moving his stop loss and profit. So when price moves down, moves stop loss and profit, and then just pretty much bags of profit while he tries to cash a bigger push. CSUK over here, total profit of 2,730 on this account. Nice work, CSUK. CSUK second account, total profit of 1,060. And oops, what am I doing here? My bad, guys. I don't know why I did that. I was double clicking this right here. We have CSUK's third account here, total profit of 3,445. So some pretty solid profits over here across the accounts for CSUK. I think that's it for right now. So we have a new low right here. Let me go and mark up this lower low. Let's see. Yeah, Nick said, I'm sure a lot of people entered sells at that liquidity area. Luckily, we only take 100 pips. So yeah, exactly. Because it could have ended really bad, Nick. You know, for example, right here, we went for 100 pips. So we went for that quick TP. If we held on to it, this thing would have like reversed a full on almost 2,000 pips. That's why I only go for 100 pips, guys, because I'm not looking here to get greedy. I'm here to look to get in and out of the market. You know, we're scalpers, or I'm a scalper. I don't care about the big 1,000 pip move. I care about the quick 100 pips in and out, no worries, and less stress. Because if you were in this position, like I would be, like if you entered that much later, you would have been caught in this huge pullback, and then price would have came right back down into profit right after. There was a V1 variation right here. Siam just identified. Not a V1 I would take because the overall bias right now is still, or actually, let me check the overall bias. 1 second. Yeah, fundamentals are bearish. Sentiment is somewhat bullish, and the technicals here are still bearish. So I wouldn't have taken that that specific move there, Satyam, because you would have to confirm the overall bias. That's why I haven't been looking for any bias today, because the bias right now is still technically a sell. Let me see if there's anything else here. Yeah, so Barty said the best is FTMO, but you can use TFT for scalping. They're better than MFF. Okay, that's good to know, Barty. So, you know, maybe in the future I'll check them out. I haven't used them before. I've been looking for another funding company to use, but a lot of them aren't reliable. Like, I forgot what the other one was. TFF. I used TFF for a little bit. They're cool during the challenge phase. I could pass the challenge within like 1 or 2 days, but then once I get funded, it's like it's on a whole different server. The fees are expensive. The spread sucks. Execution sucks. I can't stay funded on TFF, so I just don't even bother trying to use them anymore. Yeah, Martha said market's flat, pretty much flat right now, guys. We have a new zone down there, so. All right, so we have lower low right here, guys. We have a pending buy signal. If this buy signal breaks and closes past the pivots over here, pivots 1 and 2, there's a possible entry for a buy. However, the way that the market's currently moving right now, probably not the best time to make entry for this type of move. Market's pretty much flat. I don't like seeing this when the market's just flat like this. You guys can see these candles here. The volume has died down completely, as you guys can see. So down here I have the volume meter. And you can see the volume is very high here on open. And if you look at the bars down here now, it's way below average. So when the volume's like this, you definitely don't want to take trades because this is just preparing for a breakout, right? As you can see over here previously, same thing happened. The bars were very low. And then all of a sudden we have these huge candles come up right after. So just be careful for some entries here, guys, if you guys are looking. But the volume right now is extremely low. So it's not necessarily a time that I'd recommend to hop into anything specific. All right, we have a pending buy signal right here. There's a lower low, pending buy signal. If it breaks and closes past the pivots 1 and 2, maybe a possible entry. But again, as I mentioned, the volume here is very low. So you want to be a little careful about taking any entries here. Let me go and mark up the 10-second chart here for Brian to see as well. All right. So Brian, if you're looking to take this buy here, you want to make sure that the buy signal closes. You also want to make sure price breaks and closes past that level right there, right? We have about 20 seconds left here. I don't think this candle is going to close with the buy signal, but we'll see what happens shortly. We have 10 seconds left. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. Yeah, nothing there. So this candle right here is not useful at all. Maybe the next one. So there we go. As it sets up again. Volume is still extremely slow though. So just like I mentioned, guys, super slow. CJ is asking, was that a V1 at 720? So this right here was a V1 variation, CJ, but it's not one I would take because it is the overall bias is not bullish. So because the trend over here is bearish. Short-term trend is bearish, low pivots, trend meter is red, pivots are angling down. And then the fundamentals are pretty low. They are currently negative 26 points. So they're pretty much neutral bearish. And the sentiment over here is not very strong either. It's currently at 60% short, but typically you want it to be like above that, if not like 65%. So not really too much here to work with. Yeah, Glenn said news in 5, probably good to stay off the charts. Yeah, Glenn, thanks for the heads up right there. We do have news coming up right here at 7:30, guys. It's crude oil inventories. So probably not the best time to enter a trade. I mean, I'll mark stuff up and we'll follow, but you know, just like Glenn said, better be safe. Sorry. Because you guys remember what happened last time when crude oil came out. Today's probably not a big day for crude oil, but the last time crude oil came out, that thing spiked in the opposite direction, like a crazy spike, like we weren't expecting it at all. So if this candle here closes with the buy signal, and if it closes above this area too, then possibly a decent entry. But again, guys, it did not close here. So no entry there. That buy signal didn't close. Here we go for another possible opportunity, but does not look like we're going to get one here again. All right. Let's go back and maximize this chart. I know, right, Maddie? That's crazy. Yeah, Maddie just mentioned that there was some news about JP Morgan. Let's check the index. Let's see if that was affected. So JP Morgan Chase. No, not really. They barely changed at all. It's like less than a point. Yeah, no, it probably wasn't directly correlated with JP Morgan. Maddie, so it didn't really affect it too much. If the news is like directly correlated like to the banks and stuff, then yeah, it would affect it. But it's just something else, you know, they're just using their cargo ships, not necessarily like transferring gold or something. If they're transferring gold, then okay, that'd make it headliners, because that would affect the market, of course. If they're like secretly transporting gold to like other banks and stuff. Gold or cash, one or the other. All right, we got news coming up right here in about 2 minutes, guys. It wouldn't matter because there's no entries for us to take here anyways. Price is just ranging. So this is basically, this has been the setup or the market condition for the past 3 days. If you guys remembered yesterday and the day before that, we had some pretty good entries on open, and then market just ended up ranging and consolidating for the rest of the time. So this looked exactly like how it did yesterday. Let's see how far it's been ranging since here until here. It's been ranging for about 55 minutes. So if it ranges until 8 o'clock, it's going to look exactly like it did yesterday, right? You guys remember yesterday was ranging for about an hour and 30 minutes. We had our entries in the beginning, and then the price just ended up going sideways for the rest of the day. I think this is probably what's going to happen here. Let me check real quick and zoom out to see the news candle. All right, so price corrected back down from the news candle. So this right here was the news candle, this big green candle. Price pushed up, corrected back down, and it's back to where it was. So see where price is currently at right now. I'll go to a clean chart. All right, so let me just redraw. This is our clean chart with really not too many, or you know, I'll do this. This is actually a better. So look at this area right here. This is where price was before news, right? This candle right here, this green candle was the news candle. This green candle right here, this big one, right? So look at how price pushed up from here. News candle happened right here at 5:30 a.m. Price pushed away, consolidated, corrected back down. And look at where price is right now. It's exactly where it was before news happened this morning, right? So we just corrected back down. It's like literally where it's supposed to be. So price was down here, news happened, price pushed away, faked out, came back down, corrected, faked out a couple times here, and now it's right at the exact same price point that it was before news. So it's like this stuff here was all manipulation, right? Like you can pretty much see that this whole area here is like it didn't even happen. So this whole area right here, like this, it's like none of this stuff really happened. Because if you were to just blank this area out, you would see that price is literally back to where it was earlier. Right? So like from basically London session midnight up until news right here at 5:30, price kind of did some crazy movement, came back down, and then it's literally back to where it was. So now that it's corrected back to where it was, it can now determine which direction it wants to go, whether it goes up or whether it goes down. So it's pretty much flat. And this is what, like, it's crazy because a lot of people argue that manipulation in news isn't real. This is like a clear example of it being manipulated, right? News happened, manipulation, and then went exactly right back to where it was earlier. So like, I mean, people can argue with me all day that news doesn't affect the market or that manipulation is not real. Well, tell me what this is then, right? This is clear manipulation right here. Price is literally where it was 2 hours ago before news. So, I mean, you guys can believe what you want, but it's crazy when people try to argue that news doesn't affect the market or that manipulation isn't real. It's pretty real to me. And I've been trading for a while, so I know because I've been caught in manipulation a lot of times in the past, and I pretty much learned from it, so I don't get caught in it anymore. Maddie, let me check. Yeah, he's going nappy nap right now. He won't break, Maddie. Market's too boring for him. But yeah, guys, there's nothing going on right now in the market. You know, if you guys want to take a nap, feel free. Man, it's just funny. Yeah, exactly. Johnny said he's taking a consolidation nap. Yeah, there's nothing going on right here, guys. It's literally going sideways. Price is in a range, but now it's getting even tighter. So if it gets tighter like this is just consolidation. And it is, I mean, I don't really see much happening here. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, we'll keep waiting for an entry here, but I don't know if we'll get too much movement from now until 8. News candle is right here at 7 o'clock. It was pretty anticlimactic. Nothing really happened here, as you guys can see. Like little to no movement off that news candle, which is fine. I wasn't expecting anything to happen there anyways. The reason why I was expecting, well, the reason why we had a big move last time was because it was OPEC, right? If you guys remember OPEC, it's basically like the monthly oil meeting that the nation, that pretty much the whole world has. And we had like some recession news and inflation news during that time too. It was like that time when BRICS was trying to, well, BRICS was having their meeting. If you guys are not familiar with BRICS, it's like that. It's a group of like Brazil, Russia, India, BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India. I don't know what the C is or the S, but basically like a lot of these other countries, yeah, Chile. Yeah, C6 said the oil mafia. Yeah, China. Who said Chile? C6 said Chile. Yeah, China. That's what the C is, China. Yeah, Sam. Yeah, so if you guys are familiar with BRICS, like the last time the oil news came out was because BRICS was having this they were having this meeting and they mentioned that Russia was going to provide oil to all of Europe. So when this news came out, it affected the market heavily because the US had a ton of oil that they couldn't sell because Russia said they were going to give it to all of Europe. That pretty much faded out. I mean, it's still in talks, but it pretty much faded out. So it's not necessarily one of the things I will be looking for. That's why you see there's like no movement here off that oil news. Moved about 200 pips, little to no move there. C6 said just messing with me. Yeah, no, I actually believed you there for a second. C6. Okay, yeah, and the S is Saudi Arabia. Yeah, thanks, Saren. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, guys. I mean, like a lot of people kind of forgot about the Ukraine war. That's still going on. BRICS is still happening. There's just a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't really pay attention to. And that's why sometimes you see these random spikes in the market that they seem unexpected, but there's other meetings and stuff that's going on, behind the scenes. And obviously, investors are acting on those moves. I don't see any news here though. And looking over here at the fundamentals, currently right now the Dow is down 43 points, S&P is up 14 points, and Nasdaq's up 120 points, and the Russell 2K is up 7 points. VIX is currently down 5%, and that's pretty much it. It's pretty much mixed bag right here. Looks like tech stocks are doing well right now. The overall stocks here are not doing so. I mean, they're not doing bad or good. They're kind of just neutral right now. Seems like a lot of people are waiting for the news tomorrow. Today was CPI, tomorrow's PPI. So today was consumer price index, tomorrow's producer price index. So just some more inflation news. We had news here at 5:30, expect another spike tomorrow at 5:30 as well. Core PPI month over month, PPI month over month, and unemployment claims. And then on Friday, we have prelim consumer sentiment and prelim inflation expectations. So basically, this is inflation week. A lot of inflation news. And then next week is going to be Fed week. So let's check the calendar for next week. Yeah, next week we have a lot of Fed meetings, I believe. So we have core retail sales, CPI for Canada. They're having their inflation week next week. Actually, it's not Fed week next week. I thought it was Fed week, but it's not. I think they keep switching it. Sometimes Fed week is like the second week, or I mean, it's either the third week or the fourth week, because first week is NFP, second week is usually inflation week, third week is typically FOMC, but I don't see anything here for FOMC. There's core retail sales. Yeah, they kind of switch it up. Sometimes it's fourth week, sometimes it's third week. And looking over here on fourth week, new home sales, Richmond Manufacturing Index. Yeah, so the FOMC meeting minutes is right here on week 4. So it looks like for this month, week 4 is going to be Fed week. This is inflation week. Next week is, it's just basic. I mean, it's just normal news, like basically recession news. It's tough to follow the inflation stuff. All right, so let's get back to the charts. All right, we've been away from the charts for a few minutes. Nothing's happened here, still going sideways. New low has been established. Let's see. CERN said that's already happening. Russia sells to India, India sells to Europe. So much for sanctions rigged. Yeah, I know exactly, CERN, right? Like it's crazy. Like a lot of people said they weren't going to do business with Russia, but like literally Russia's just selling to these other countries, and these other countries are selling to the countries that said they wouldn't buy from Russia. So there's always a loophole. Um, yeah, no, it's crazy how the fundamentals work. I don't really look at macroeconomics too much. We'll leave that to Sisuk. He's the I feel like Sisuk knows everything about everything. You guys ever have any question about anything? Sisuk's like an open book. Um, yeah, I saw that, Maddie. All right, so there's nothing for us to take right now, guys. As I mentioned over here at liquidity, price is not going to hit the next level of liquidity today. Next level of liquidity is like way down here and way up there. So it's got a long way to go until it reaches any of those points. Let's go to the 10-minute over here. I wouldn't even bother trading on the 10-minute if you guys are looking here because it's such a mess. The 10-minute here is way up there and way down here. Yeah, it's way too much of a mess right now. There's nothing going on here on the 10-minute. Let's look at the SR rejection scalps. So it looks like there was one SR rejection scalp that came up right here. Kind of a messy entry, but nonetheless an entry. Let's see if I could find it. Um, I mean, the volatility is too low, so I wouldn't have even taken it if I saw it, but yeah, it was a really quick move. So let me just replay this real quick. So this was an SR rejection scalp. You can see here that the trend is bearish. You can see this red candle right here is rejecting off the structure right there. That'd be your entry point. You take it full TP, and that'd be the only entry that I would have seen. I mean, I don't like the way the market's moving. It's too slow right now. It's starting to pick up a little bit, but it's still kind of slow for my liking. It's just, and we got this big candle right here. All right, guys, I'm gonna step away real quick. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, I'll be back in a few seconds. Just give me a few moments. Be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. Let's see, man, this thing's starting to drop pretty heavy. Looks like there was a couple high level momentum scalps right here. One right there. I mean, not one that I would personally take because it's just, I'd be worried of getting caught up in these trades. It's a break and retest here as well for a high level momentum or a high low scalp. This candle broke and closed below, retested right there. Could have made entry off this point. Or I mean, you could have made entry at any point, really. But yeah, the random spike of volatility right here, it makes it a bit risky because last thing you want to do is hop into a trade, and then as soon as you enter, it just corrects right back up, right? So let's see if it's getting to that area of liquidity down here. So it's actually inching closer to it, but at this point, I think it's going to be too overextended. So it's getting close to it. About 1,800 pips away from this area of liquidity down here. But I mean, price can just correct back up at some point. Let's see, Martha said she took that based on pivot alignment on the 5 and 10. Let's see. Yeah, no. So looking at this right here, Martha saw that the pivot started to spread out right there with the high-low scalp. Yeah, that looks fine. I mean, I would have taken it if like there was some actual movement here, but the price was pretty much flat for like a good while. So I'd be a little more hesitant to take, you know, like this high-low scalp. What is it over here? Yeah. Yeah, because it was going sideways right here. So like, for example, so Martha took it because it came down. If it was moving, like say, for example, if we had like a smooth push down, then yeah, I would be okay with taking it. But see, like this wasn't really that smooth. Price is pretty much going sideways. But if it was going down smoothly, then yeah, I would have taken the entry, but I'm cool with my profits for the day. So yeah, if you guys need any other questions, you know, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I'm just not too keen on taking any trades here because you can see how price just retraces back up. You can get caught in this retracement leg, and it's a pretty nasty retracement. Like if you try to chase a sell right here, price ended up retracing super hard from this level, you know, almost 1,000 pips within like 3 minutes. So the volatility is starting to pick up, but this is a problem because if the volatility picks up too much, if your stop loss is 300 pips, it's very easy for you to get stopped out. I mean, it's easy for you to make profit, also very easy for you to lose. And since you're using a negative risk to reward, probably not the best decision to make risky moves here. If the volatility continues to be high, you might want to change your TP stop loss from 1030 to 2550 just to cover the moves, because each candle right here is, let's see. Yeah, this candle right here is 520 pips. This candle right here is about 400 pips. And then you can see the volume is starting to die down. So this candle right here is 500 pips. This is 400. This is now 200 pips. And the volume is back down to flat. So you guys can see over here from the volume meter down below, volume was very low down here. Then it picked up, then it got low again. Right. I can catch a pattern down here for like when this stuff moves. I mean, basically, it looks like whenever price starts to pick up, like if it's flat, then it blasts right through. It's typically going to keep pushing that direction. As you can see over here, we have a self signal. Volume kind of dies down a little bit, picks up on this candle right here. Nice TP right there. Price kind of dies down again right here. Picks back up on this candle right here. So I guess what you might want to look for here is just, you know, now that I'm looking at this, I'm like, did I just come up with another strategy? So looking at this right here, guys, I mean, obviously it'd have to be during the New York session. This is one thing that I kind of started to notice here. Like if you have a sell signal and volume starts to die down a little bit, once it picks back up, it's like perfect time for entry. Not every time, but I think like the first initial push. Like for example, right here, we have a buy signal right here. Volume was low. As soon as this one right here pushed up, you could have made an entry there for a buy. It's just pure momentum, basically. Full TP, of course. I mean, you could probably even go for a 1-to-1. It's be about 40 pips or 400 pips. Full TP right there. And then I just looked at this right here. So whenever I'm looking at the charts, guys, I try to look for little patterns that play out. So for example, again, right here, we have a sell signal. Volume was low. This candle right here is where volume picked up on. Oops. This right here is where volume picked up on. Whatever, I'm not going to use that symbol. So volume picked up right here. Could have taken that for a sell, either a 1-to-1, which would be about 150, or you can go to the previous swing. It's about like 25. So 250 pips right there. Yeah, I like using volume because if you use volume with momentum, it typically gives you an upper hand. Like we used to use this before. If you guys remember in the past, we used this as one of our confluences. Like you get a sell signal, volumes above average. It's typically good for a pivot scalp entry. Right, 1-to-1, 450 pips right there. This below average, not useful. Maybe we'll use this as you will use this in the future. I think right now I don't like leaving it on the chart because it takes up so much space. You guys can see down here it's so messy with the volume, but I'll keep it on my list here. So if I ever want to turn it on, I can just take a look. But I don't like how it leaves a big mess down there. AR said, thank you, Sean Dunn, for the day. I need to bring my kid to school. All right, AR, we'll see you back here tomorrow. Maddie said he's out for the day. Got his profits, going to preserve his capital for tomorrow. All right, Maddie, we'll see you back here tomorrow. All right, guys, if there's any other questions that you guys have, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Unfortunately, there was no official entries for today, but it looks like pretty much everyone here took the liquidity push with us earlier this morning. I'll continue to mark up these liquidity push entries. I know it's not an official entry, but it's something that does hit pretty often. So, if we continue to use this every single day, maybe I'll establish it as an official entry. For right now, we're still sticking to the high level momentum scalps because I don't want to confuse people too much. But I think the two main strategies that we've been looking at have been the high level momentum scalps and the liquidity pushes, mainly the liquidity pushes this week, because there hasn't been any high level momentum scalps during the live sessions for this whole week, except for this one right here that happened earlier in the session, but not one that I was okay with taking because of the overall bias this morning. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, let me see if there's anything else here right now. Yeah, but it's not. So Gene Vaughn asked me if the sentiment is short. Yeah, so sentiment's currently 58% short right now. It's not very strong. It's just, it is short, but we typically want it to be above 60% or above 65%, somewhere around there. So guys, again, if you guys are new here and you guys want to learn any of these strategies that we discussed today, for the high level momentum scalp, just pull up our website, kodikaitrades.com, click on unlock your free access right here. Once you click on that, you'll get access to the course. This is what the course looks like. And that strategy is going to be under module 4, main strategies, high level momentum scalp. If you guys want to learn the liquidity push that I just went over today, these liquidity pushes right here, you guys will need my high-low indicator and the momentum indicator. And then you'll use the pivots and trend meter to identify the trend if necessary. Not super necessary, but it would be useful. And if you guys want to learn that, just go to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/KodiKaiTrades. Again, if you guys are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, I would recommend subscribing to it if you guys are looking to watch the free live streams. just click on subscribe, turn on notifications, and then whenever I go live, which is every day, YouTube will send you an email with a link to my live session. If you guys want to learn this high-level momentum, or sorry, this liquidity push that we took today, basically how I locked in these profits from this morning off this trade right here, I just pull up the mentoring sessions for the past 3 weeks. So I cover that strategy pretty much every week for the past 3 weeks. I just scroll down to over here, Kodi Trades live mentoring sessions. And the one from this week was May 8th. And the one before that was May 1st. And the one before that was April 25th. Basically, the most recent mentoring sessions, I cover that strategy in detail with examples. So, I mean, other than that, guys, I think that's about it. So if there's any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to wrap this up shortly. Tyler said it was 63 this morning, so it shifted quite a bit. Yeah, it did, Tyler. It was actually at 64, so it was pretty heavy, the sentiment, and then it shifted pretty heavily. It looks like a lot of people are finally done taking L's on the sell side, and they're finally looking to shift out or pull out of the position. So, I mean, it's basic nature, right? It's the basic nature of human logic, right? If you keep losing on the sell side, you want to shift to the buy side. But once they shift to the buy side, price starts shifting to the sell side. So it's always like, it's always getting pushed around. You obviously want to be on the opposite side of everybody else. Let's see, question from Randy. Randy's asking, have you ever checked out Alpha Capital Group prop firm? I have never. Let me see if I can pull them up real quick. Let's see what you say. Alpha Capital. What is it called? Alpha Capital Partners. I've never heard of them before ever, Randy, so I'm not sure. I'm assuming it's Alpha Capital Group. So let's see, I'll pull it up right here. I've never heard of this group before. I mean, it's like the same thing as everybody else, though. There's so many prop firms out there now. It's like it's hard to decipher what's legit and what isn't. Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard of them before, so I can't say. The main thing that I personally look for in prop firms is whether they allow for my trading style, which is scalping, right? FTMO is number one for me. The second one in line is going to be MFF, which, I mean, they're starting to slip, but they're still okay. And I think that's about it. Those are the only two that I use. I've never used this company before. I can't really say if they're good or not. I mean, I'm looking over here. The stats are pretty much the same. They give you 5 more days for phase one. Profit target's 8%. It's a little less. Yeah, it's about the same. It's at 997, so it's a little cheaper than FTMO. I would just go with FTMO personally. If you guys haven't maxed out your FTMOs, I wouldn't go and try anything else yet. I'm already maxed out on my FTMO. You guys have seen I have 400K on FTMO, 600 on MFF. But those are the only two funding companies that I know are okay with scalping. So yeah, Grandy, I haven't heard of them before, but I mean, who knows? You probably ask in the chat if you want to pop into the chat. I'm sure someone else has maybe checked them out at some point. But a couple of people in our group did send me the list of like their prop firms that they've used, and I haven't seen this one on the list yet. So yeah, no opinion on them. I can't say if they're good or bad. I haven't used them, so nothing on my end. All right, guys, I think that's it for today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up. There's no other entries for us to take here so far. Price is pretty much consolidating and moving sideways. I think this is pretty much the move until tomorrow, once we have the PPI news. But other than that, I think that's about it. Here's Patrick over here. Patrick said it's not how you start, but how you finish. So Patrick over here had a loss, unfortunately, last night. It looks like he took this during Asia session, one loss, but then he made it right back today, this morning. Total profit of 702 for the day. So nice recovery. As you close the day in profit. Yeah, I told Patrick, nice recovery as long as you close the day in profit. But other than that, I think that's about it. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session. So have a great rest of your day, guys.